Hello! Iggy Perrish loses everything he had in one night. The girl he loved is dead, and he becomes the prime suspect, but he himself remembers nothing. And to solve the case and find the murderer, be it himself or other inhabitants of the small town where everyone knows each other, he is given a special gift from above. However, God works in mysterious ways, and the side effects of such a gift are more akin to a curse or a cruel joke. Iggy and Marin spend carefree time on a picnic in the woods. The boy promises that he will love the girl for the rest of his life.
Just love me for the rest of mine.
Some time passes, and he wakes up on the floor of his house with a hangover. Ig tries to recover a little, and turns on a song he and Mary were listening to together. It turns out that the girl has been murdered, and there are journalists and ill-wishers outside his window who are convinced that he is the murderer.
To save your soul for what you did to her.
I should ask the devil to punish whoever the kills her.
The boy goes to his relatives, who advise him not to talk to reporters, and his father offers to pay for another, more experienced lawyer. At the moment, Ig is being defended by his old friend Lee. The son does not understand why his parents are convinced that he really killed the girl, but at the same time try to protect him. His older brother, the musician Terry, tries to support the boy. Lee, the lawyer, also arrives and says that there is a new witness for the prosecution in the case, and the samples from the girl's body have been burned to a crisp. This is very bad news for Ig, but his old friend also tries to relieve his anxiety.
I believe you. You don't think I'm capable of murder? Just put me in a room with a guy who really killed her.
After that, Ig comes to the bar, where only the bartender, Glena, supports him and does not kick him out. She has unrequited feelings for him. In the evening, a memorial service is held for Mary. In the woods, at the scene of her murder under a treehouse, her father, Dale, says that as long as her killer, Ig Perrish, is not convicted, the girl's soul will not rest. The guy hides upstairs, going through his grief alone, and is always with a bottle in his hands. When people leave, he goes downstairs and desecrates the memorial in rage. He blames God for not protecting Mary, even though she went to church every week and prayed. Glena notices the drunk guy and takes him home before he does more damage. They spend the night together. In the morning, Ig feels pain in his forehead and is horrified to find 2 protuberances. These are real horns that are piercing through his skin. Glena confirms that these are not hallucinations, but reacts very strangely to them. She asks Ig for permission to stuff herself with donuts.
Why would you have another one if your stomach hurts, Glenn?
Because I want to get really fat.
The girl knows that everyone considers her frivolous and only sleeps with her if they are drunk. Ig has nothing to say to that. The guy goes to the surgeon to get rid of the devil horns, and in the waiting room encounters people sharing their most forbidden desires and sins with him again. Out of the blue, for the sake of an experiment, he allows the receptionist to be rude to a female visitor, and they have a horrible argument. The doctor and the nurse are unable to resist his new abilities either, and are not trying to perform their official duties.
You f***ing patients. All you care about is yourselves.
Ig still convinces the doctor to do his job and try to saw off the horns. He falls asleep from the anesthesia and drowns in memories from his childhood. The story of his relationship with Mary. In church, the girl attracted his attention by throwing sunburst off her golden cross at him. Ig finds that same cross with a torn chain after the service. Another day, the kids are having fun with firecrackers, with which they blow up watermelons, stuffed toys, and even a chicken carcass on the pier. Among the company are Ig and his brother Terry, Lee, Glena, and the fat Eric, who refuses to share the last bomb and agrees to give it to whoever rides off the ramp naked on a shopping cart. Ig volunteers and takes the run-up. As he flies off the rusty ramp, he splits his forehead, and the timbers lock on the surface above his head, preventing him from swimming out. He is rescued by Lee, who pulls his friend ashore at the last moment. The prize wasn't worth it, but the last bomb is now in the hero's hands. Later, Lee fixes the chain from the cross and offers to give it to Mary himself. But Ig flatly refuses and offers to trade the cross for the hard-earned bomb. He puts the cross on Mary and they begin to chat, when suddenly Terry interrupts them with the news that a firecracker has exploded in Lee's hand and he is seriously injured. At the hospital, the groups of friends gather around the bed. The guy has lost 2 fingers, but promises not to turn his friends in. Through the blinds, he sees Mary smile.
I'm glad one good thing happened today.
And Ig grows closer and closer to Mary, though he is tormented by guilt over what happened to his friend.
Because if he gave it back to you, then he would have been the one who...
You think you traded me for the cherry bomb?
Mary confesses that she left the cross specifically for Ig. She kisses him in the treehouse, where they spend many more happy moments together. However, Terry also knows about their hiding place and casts an envious glance from time to time. The guy suddenly wakes up from anesthesia and discovers that instead of performing the surgery, the nurse and doctor have decided to have fun with each other. Desperate, Ig goes to the priest. The priest fights back in fear and tells him that he has turned away from God and is wallowing in darkness. He suggests that the guy end his journey on Earth with his help. Once again, the power of the horns is at work. Only Lee is not affected by the horns. He can't even see them. The friend suggests that Iggy has gotten a little crazy from the stress. Ig returns home, where his own mother says that she doesn't want him to be her son because she is constantly upset with him. The father, on the other hand, admits that he set fire to destroy the evidence because he has no doubt that Ig killed Mary. He loved the girl more than his son.
She was my favorite thing about you.
Yeah, me too.
Ig drives on, haunted by reporters as usual. He calls Lee and asks if he knew about his father's involvement in the arson, to which he receives an evasive answer. The guy wants to find the real killer with his new superpower. Once he gets close to him, the culprit will immediately confess to the atrocity. The guy drives up to the bar, where he offers the pesky journalist to have a fight over who gets an exclusive interview, and they start a massacre. Ig asks all customers about the murder, and one of them informs him that the new witness in the case is the waitress who served Ig and Marin on the day of the murder. The bartender also goes crazy and sets fire to his bar, which he is fed up with. Back in the car, the guy finds the ring he wanted to give to his future fiancée. But that day, when he came to the cafe, the girl said she was leaving for Los Angeles and breaking up with him.
You in love with somebody else?
Ig yells so loud that the whole cafe can hear him, trying to find out how far Mary has gone in cheating, but she is silent in response. The girl says she doesn't love him anymore. Ig runs outside, where Terry is waiting for him, expecting them to celebrate the occasion. But his brother just gets in the car and kicks the gas. Mary sees him off with a glance too. The next morning, the fat Eric, who has become a cop, finds Ig on the shore of the lake where they spent their childhood. The cop asks when he last saw the girl, fearing that something had happened. Ig chooses the wrong words to talk to the cops.
It's all my fault. Anything that happened to her was all my fault.
Ig arrives at the cafe, where the waitress confesses that she lied to the cops because she wants to be on television. She dreams of being coveted by as many people as possible. Afterwards, Ig goes to the bar where his brother is performing. Clena is also there. She confesses to the guy that she has loved him since she was a kid. Ig goes outside with Terry, who reveals that the day Mary was killed, he drove her home in his car, but swears he didn't kill her. Ig pounces on his brother and demands answers. It turns out that Terry tried to seduce her despite the girl's terrible state of mind, to which Mary asked him to stop the car and got out in the middle of the woods. Terry himself was under the influence of substances and remained in the car waiting for her, where he fell asleep. In the morning, he woke up with a bloody rock in his seat and found her dead body in the woods, whereupon he fled and threw all evidence into the lake. He assures the guy that he didn't kill her, though he loved her too. Eric and his partner show up and arrest Ig for the assault, confessing their fantasies about each other in the process, of course. From his confinement, Ig is taken out by Lee, to whom the boy tells what he has learned from Terry with the help of his horns.
Go home. Why are you wearing Marin's cross?
Lee tries to avoid answering, but then confesses that Mary gave it to him. That's who she was having an affair with, a traitor friend. Mary's house is the next stop. Ig wants to talk to her father to find out if she really cheated on him. Dale points a shotgun at him. The horns don't seem to work either, and Ig leaves the man who lost his wife to cancer and his daughter at the hands of a murderer alone. At night, Ig goes to an abandoned warehouse where he tries to break his horns against a concrete wall. He fails, and suddenly notices a huge number of snakes crawling towards him. He grabs a pitchfork to fight them off, but after thinking about it, lets one of them crawl on top of him. Having come to terms with his new devilish appearance, he is filled with determination to find a killer. Snakes attack the vain waitress at his command, robbing her of her beauty. He allows the policemen to realize their fantasies, convincing them that it's not a sin. Afterwards, he makes a visit to his addicted brother and tries to get him to confess. In retaliation for his selfishness and cowardice, he forces him to consume his entire supply of junk, causing him terrible hallucinations. But this isn't just bullying. Iggy has realized that there's no other way for his brother to quit his dangerous hobbies. In the morning, Lee finds Ig and tells him that his affair with Mary only lasted a couple of months before she decided to move. The boy pounces on his friend and rips off his cross. It turns out it was the only thing that protected him from the horns. The murderer confesses to what he has done. Ig grabs him by the throat, and the whole truth is revealed to him. Lee followed Terry's car and found the girl in the woods. He was certain she had broken up with Ig to be with him.
What about all the signals you've been sending?
What? Signals? What?
But the girl refuses him intimacy and says she still loves Ig. This shocks Iggy, and he releases his grip, trying to comprehend what he just saw. The freed Lee seizes the moment and strikes him in the back with a chain. The friend confesses that he abused Mary, and in a fit of fury, hit her with a rock and then planted it in Terry's car. He drags the beaten Ig into the car, which he douses with gasoline and sets it on fire. Ig manages to hit the gas and then crashes into the lake. His parents and Terry, who ended up in the hospital after an overdose, hears on the news that Ig committed suicide after confessing to his lawyer, Lee. However, no body was found in the car. The charred guy gets out of the lake and comes to Mary's father. The man shows him the key he hid from the police. The girl wanted to give it to Ig. Ig responds by giving the father his daughter's golden cross, but Dale refuses it and replies that Ig needs it more. Wearing the cross, the boy is miraculously cured of both the horns and his injuries. Ig hurries to the treehouse to unlock the hiding place. With tears in his eyes, he reads a letter that was meant to be read when Mary died. In it, she tells him that she has been diagnosed with cancer, which is inherited through the female line in her family. She has seen her father suffer and does not want such a fate for Ig, though she would more than anything like to marry him.
Then you'll give up your future and be shackled to me as I go through hell and die anyway.
She hopes that he will fall in love with someone else and live a happy and long life with that person, and afterwards, she will be waiting for him in the treehouse. Afterwards, Ig visits Terry in the hospital. The brother has learned his lesson and wants to go after Lee together, but the boy goes after the killer alone. Lee doesn't remember anything. That's the effect the horns have on people after making a confession. They head to the crime scene, and there, Ig asks Lee to confess to what he has done without using mystical powers. Lee is playing dumb, when suddenly, Terry and Eric, whom his older brother has called with him, emerge from the woods. A policeman with a shotgun sees that Lee has lied about Ig committing suicide and tries to arrest the old acquaintance. But Lee snatches the gun and wounds Terry, who bravely tries to stop him, and then kills Eric. Ig tears off his cross, but the unexpected happens. Instead of horns, he grows angelic wings and soars upward. After this, the feathers on his wings begin to burn, and the fallen angel, engulfed in flames, turns into a devil, unaffected by bullets. Lee begs for mercy, but at the last moment, treacherously grabs a pitchfork and plunges it into the demon's belly. It seems that he has won, but Ig's wounds heal as quickly as they appear, and he impales the assassin on his horns. The bleeding Lee is entangled in snakes, and one of them completes the execution. But for Ig, this transformation becomes his last. He has carried out his revenge by becoming a devil for the last time.
My time has come to return to you, so we can be together again.
The lovers are once again lying on the blanket next to the treehouse, where no one will disturb their love ever again. As always, you'll find the name of the movie in the description of the video. In the meantime, let us know in the comments if you guessed right away why the horns didn't work on Lee. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video so more awesome stories come out as often as possible.